Illinois.
Thank you to the chairman and ranking member for convening this hearing, and Dr. Locascio for your willingness to appear today. And thank you for the hard work that is not always recognized. Last month, this committee passed the Trank Research Act, which requires the National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, to support research to identify xylazine, synthetic opioids, and other dangerous subjects of concern. On the other hand, NIST, through the Science and Technical Research and Services Program, tasked with studying the impacts of hurricanes, typhoons, wildfires, to support the development of climate resilience standards. Before coming to Congress, I served my district for nearly 20 years as a meteorologist. And my job was to present meteorology in an accurate and digestible manner so that my community could make good decisions to protect their property and the lives of families. NIST promotes resilient standards so these communities can better prepare themselves and their infrastructure for disasters such as flooding that we along the Mississippi River in western Illinois are just getting through here today. We've seen some of the costliest disasters in our nation happen just in the past few years. For example, in 2020, the Iowa and Illinois derecho left $11.5 billion worth of damage in its wake. How can Congress assist NIST in ensuring that the codes and the standards that the agency helps to develop are implemented in such a way that they'll result in future disasters being less costly?
Yeah, I appreciate that question, and it is really devastating what we're seeing all over the country, and we've been asked to participate in many more investigations than we ever have. Clearly, it's important, and that's why it's part of this budget. The way that we do our work is to make sure that whatever we do is an answer that's appropriate for any changes that could be necessary in order to make a rebuilt community more disaster resilient, or to shore up codes so that people can become disaster resilient in an existing building. And so, so really the quality of the data and the information that we provide not only feeds into codes and international standards, but also gets adopted. And the way it gets adopted is that we work very closely regionally and nationally and internationally to assure that these are built into the next generation of infrastructure.
Because we also have to understand that the weather that we're seeing today, the extreme weather today, is a product of the warming up to yesterday. So understanding as this continues to worsen, we're going to have bigger disasters in the future. How does NIST coordinate with the Department of Ag to prepare our agriculture, our farmers, with the next disaster?
I think that's a very good question, and I would say we don't coordinate necessarily to prepare them for disasters. Our response is to find out what could happen and how we can shore up infrastructure, and that in general supports the farmers, but we don't do. We work with the Department of Agriculture, but I'm not being able to come up with the best way that we coordinate with them, and I would love to get back to you on that.
We can follow up on that,
That'd
surely.
be great.
Oh, on a related note, NIST has an online economic decision tool to help communities plan for disasters. The tool helps communities plan infrastructure investments based on accurate data. How can we work and live with these disasters in the future? And does NIST have any plans to expand on this resilience tool in the 2024 budget, for instance?
So we don't have specific funds for that particular tool in the 2024 budget. Most of the funding that we are using in the 2024 budget is to really shore up our ability to do disaster investigations and the supporting research to surround investigations and the conclusions from investigations. But we do have an ongoing commitment to making sure that community resilience tool is up to date, and we work with the communities to make sure that it meets their needs and how it's implemented.
And I see my time is up, so I yield back. Thank you.
The gentleman yields back.